I walked up to my dad and I'm like, hey dad, my life is falling apart and I'm gonna drop out of college. And he was like, okay, so? And I was like, that's how I'm gonna get through it. That's what I'm gonna do. So that was a really bad like transfer into this video. I'm so sorry. My dad didn't actually say that. I made that all up. Hey y'all, cats and kittens. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to scream because I really don't know how well my microphone's gonna pick up. And I was really scared about filming in here because it looks like a mess, but it's like a nice mess now that I realize it. It's like a good aesthetic. Like maybe I should start filming here. Anywho's, welcome to the mid-teenage crisis show. I had a mid-teenage crisis, like I'm not mid-teenage anymore, but I was about like, I guess, is it 16? 16's like a mid-teen years? Yeah. I'm a junior year of high school, and I had a crisis where I realized that the world is rigged. Introduced to my cat Spicy. Anyways, that the world is rigged and it's stupid because all people do is like get corporate jobs and just become losers. Because I was in a business class and it was really getting to my head, and I decided that I wasn't gonna live like that. You know, I wasn't gonna be working this whole 9 to 5 thing for the man in big office. Nah, I was gonna create my own path. Okay, so I thought that would work if I didn't address the issue. I've been wanting to do this dress, like I vaguely want to do this dress for a hot minute. Here's my little story time. So let's get centered, like good, nice and centered. Story time. So it was right when all this quarantine crap happened. I was still in my spring semester of college and stressing out to the max. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be home now. I'm gonna have so much more time. Not true. Anyways, but I saw this really cool girl on TikTok. I put her name here somewhere because I can't remember names because I'm not on TikTok that much. And she does like cosplay stuff, and she was like, finally time, I can feel my lifehood dream of building Princess and the Pauper costumes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want it, I need it, I have to do it now. But of course I didn't have time to do it now. But I just kind of let it slide while I was finishing my spring semester, and then I got done with it and I started on my summer semester, which I ended up dropping out of because it was crazy hard and I was crazy stressed for no reason. I was like, there's no point in this. So dropped out, and then I found this lovely, amazing woman on YouTube called Michaela Tours, and I started watching her and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just like you, you're just like me. You see what I did there? Anyways, I mean, I wasn't homeschooled my entire life, but I was homeschooled for like 3 months, so I kind of get the whole thing, you know, when I was raised in like a Christian household, and like, I mean, I'm still Christian today, and I was like, and you sew the exact same way I do, like, just go with it, like, I don't need no pattern, like, you just make it up as you go, and measure it, and cut, and sew, and, you know, how it goes. In conclusion, after all of that happened, I decided that I had to make that dress because there was too many coincidences, you know, like if it was just that one time and I was like, oh, I'm not really interested, but I saw it 2 times in a row and I was like, I gotta do it. So let's turn our attention to the uglier side of the room, and that's the side that I haven't painted yet. But this is my lovely new friend Loretta, and she is a like an adjustable dress body. I found her on Facebook Marketplace and snagged her up because why not? See how beautiful she is. Beautifulness. The dress is hanging on her head because I started to do some work on it last night and I was like, oh no, I'm supposed to be filming this. Don't do it. I'm gonna make everything pink, kind of detachable, because I don't like pink. So this, like the outer dress that's gonna be the blue part, is gonna be completely independent from all of like the pink Erika finishes and everything like that, because I want to be able to just use it as just a 18th century dress in general and not just an Erika dress. Ignore my beta tank, it's got like an algae bloom going on here, and I'm trying to let it do its own thing because sometimes it'll like clump up itself and it makes it easier to get out, because if not then I like leave pieces behind and then it grows back worse. So let's get to the cutting part, which is my favorite part, but also the scariest part.
So this is the really fun part where you get to get happy with your scissors, and I'm just going to cut out the zipper here as my cats fall around me, and cut off the top because I'm using this as a skirt. This is the dress I originally bought. I got it at the Salvation Army for $5. And now here's me trying to figure out how I'm going to take in the side of the jacket, only to realize the jacket fits and all I need to do is cut off the bottom. Now just pin the jacket to your dress thingy or whatever you have and trace out the neckline that you would like to see. Once I finally got everything down to its liking, I cut the interior parts out of the jacket so it'd be easier to cut along the hemline. And then I put it back onto the bodice, and I was trying to figure out how to do the hem in a way that I could use it later without a stomacher in the dress. Side note though, I really don't know if it's like where I've not secured her tightly enough at the bottom, but this model's really wobbly. Like, let me know if you have a model like this and if it's really wobbly and what you do to fix it, or if it's just my ignorance. And now we're back to the skirt where I'm going to hem the raw edges, which takes forever, and I hate doing this so much. But yeah, my cat comes along and just sits on the fabric like he always does, but at least it was entertaining for me for a moment. And then I was back to the sewing machine where I sewed so much for this dress. Now I'm just going to cut these little strip of fabric down from the bottom of the jacket to make the waistband for the skirt. And in order to make everything fit, I'm putting a few darts in to make it a little bit more period accurate as well, and just help the dress flare a little bit more so it's not so straight.
So my phone was dying and I had to take a break, and I turned on the AC so it's super loud. I will come closer to the screen. I feel like I have to talk this direction because the microphone is there, and plus I'll look this direction because I can see myself on the screen moving around because I'm on my cellular device, because why not? By the way, this is not a hickey. If you've seen this like throughout the video, that I got a bug bite the other day and it really itches, and if you look really close you can tell it's just like a little strip right there, and it's not a hickey. Since my phone was dying, I did a little bit of like just monotonous work. I finished retacking the skirt, folded the ends in, and just kind of took the thread and tacked it into place so it wouldn't be that hard, because I'm just going to like roll it up and make one line, like one seam along the bottom. So we're back to the really evil, hateful, monotonous work that I hate doing. Show you what I'm going to do so that you know. So I've already like tacked these into place without pins, because I'm going to take, oh gosh, you can't see. I'm going to take the way this is folded across it. I'm sure you've seen it before, and I folded this inside of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly tuck in this side a little bit, and then tuck in this side a little bit, and then make the hem this way across the top. But I'm going to have to pin front and back and then do the line. So that's going to be the tedious part that's going to take 10 years.
So I tried really hard at this for about, I don't know how long, and then I realized once I started sewing it that I didn't even need to tuck in the back side of it, and half the back side didn't get tucked in anyways because it was falling out as I was trying to sew it all together. Here I was just extending a little bit of the darts that kind of got lost with all that, and now I'm attaching the dress to the top only to realize that I can't do it wrong side out, right side in, something. I had to do it that way. And now I'm just assembling the dress together so that I won't have two separate pieces and just one piece like they used to wear without all the strings to make your butt look poofy. So this is the part where you're going to make your petticoat that you were really excited about making, and then once you started making it, you realized how drained you were from making everything else. So you really were confused about what to do, and so you just went at it with some scissors and hoped everything was right in the end.
Ooh. So I had to cut the AC off, not because I need to talk, but because it was getting too cold, and had to put on sweatpants. Anywho's, I'm not gonna lie, I honestly have no clue what I'm supposed to be doing, like not even in the slightest bit, and I'm pretty sure I did this wrong. I cut this at like, it needs to be about the half the size of my waist, and my waist length was fluctuating today from like 34 to 35, so I'm just gonna pretend like my waist is 36, and that would make it 18-ish, so we complete like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14, 16, 20, possibly. I don't, honestly, I really don't know. I'm just going to go with it, and we'll see what happens.
So that's what I did. I just went with it, and I ended up adding an extra pleat than what I'd originally planned, but I probably should have added like 1 or 2 more just to make sure it wasn't too big, because it was almost too big in the end. And this is the part where we finally get to making the stomacher, and also the part where you want to gotta go outside and find a shingle because you forgot to buy zip ties and you need something to hold up your stomacher. And then you're going to take that shingle and you're going to paint it white with some spare craft paint you have lying around. And then you're going to cut out the exact shape and size that you need for that little panel, and then you're going to snip some ribbons to make them in the pattern in which she has on her dress. And I'm losing my mind. It'll be okay. I'll come back in a minute. And so yeah, just kind of do that, or if you're going to use this dress permanently, maybe put some eyelets in the dress and then string the strings across. And then I'm just making the poofy out of some extra of the same white fabric that I used to make the stomacher piece. Okay, so I'm really tired of shifting my phone around and my phone's going dead anyway, so I didn't want to just keep doing time lapses. I figured I'd stop to explain something. I cut these out in panels. I could have done it like widthwise of the fabric, like how fabric comes in a certain width. I could have done it that way, but it would have been too short and I wouldn't have had room for the hemlines, so I decided to turn it the long way. This is a yard of fabric. Sorry, I didn't cut it the width of the yard, I cut it the width, like the length. I didn't cut it the length of the fabric, I cut it the width of the fabric. And that was a little bit over 40 some inches, so I ended up hemming it at the bottom and hemming it at the top so I could put string through the top. And now I'm cutting a back layer for this so I don't have to do painstakingly like folding and hemming it. I can just do like a line around and then turn it inside out. So what I didn't do is show that I sewed this like a pillow, and then I took and made some little pockets at the top to put the string through. You're going to want to pull the string through like this, but before you move on to the next part where we sew the strings into place so that they don't move, you're going to want to make sure your string is even on both sides, or you won't be able to tie it around your waist, which is what I did. And so now I'm stuck with two panels that I cannot tie around my body and must tie onto a separate part of the dress. At this point in the project, I've been sewing for like 3 days straight, getting up and going straight to my sewing machine, so I was really tired, and I had high aspirations for doing this tulle part, and then I realized how much tulle it was going to take, and I just gave up. Alas, the dress was finished, but my shift was not, because I did not feel like making one. So instead, I put together this little outfit with my corset and decided to step into my petticoat and get dressed already. So if you don't know how a petticoat works, you just tie it in the front, and as you can see, my strings are super long. I would make your strings less long if you were doing the same thing as I am. So you tie the front panel, and then you come around the back, and you tie the back panel. I also had to do the same thing on this petticoat with extending the pleats like I did on the dress. I don't think I mentioned that before, but now you know. And for some reason, I was struggling so hard to get that tied, confused. So this is finally the part when I realized that I messed up the side panels badly, and so I ended up having to tie them to the strings on the petticoat itself, and that did not hold up that well. Maybe next time I'll just take some safety pins to the inside. And now I could finally reach into my pockets, which were in my favorite pair of shorts that I always use for pockets. And now I'm pinning the stomacher into place so that I can get the jacket portion. And so I tried to put this together, and it was really a pain, and I knew I wasn't going to get it together with straight pins, so I went and found some safety pins and gave up.
All my life I've always wanted to have one day for myself, not waking up with a pile of work on every shelf, with no hems in need of pressing and no sleeves in disarray, no wedding gown with 1,000 stitches to crochet, and no debt to pay. What would it be like to be? What would it be like to be free?
Yeah, I said I was like Michaela Torres. I don't have kittens, gosh. I don't have chickens that roam the house, but I do have kittens. They're actually cats now, but I mean, like, that's really close, right? And I have 3 of them, not 2. But she has a bird, a parrot too. So, you know, that's kind of like, you know, it's like 3 birds, 3 cats. It makes sense. And I know it may not be that odd, you know, having cats, but I do have dart frogs up there, so that's kind of a rare oddity.